Everyone thinks the Elder Wand was Dumbledore's. He beat Grindelwald. He took the wand. End of story, right? Not so fast. What if I told you the wand may have never truly answered to him? Yeah, there's a major crack in the official story. One the books barely mention, but it changes everything. In this video, we'll follow the Elder Wand's bloody trail, from betrayal to betrayal, uncovering the real line of loyalty, the hidden lore most fans miss, and the fatal mistake that doomed Voldemort. You think you know this wand? Think again. The Elder Wand didn't exactly have a warm and fuzzy beginning. It was born out of legend, sure, but a legend soaked in blood. Antioch Peverell, the guy credited with crafting it, was the type to walk around bragging he couldn't be beaten. Not the best idea when you're holding a weapon that literally asks to be stolen. Naturally, he didn't last long. Someone slipped into his room, killed him in his sleep, and took the wand. That pretty much set the tone for its legacy. From there, it was a non-stop relay of betrayal, duels, and suspicious accidents. The wand never stayed in one hand for long, because the people who held it tended to end up dead or at the very least wandless. And the worst part? That wasn't a bug in the system. It was the feature. The Elder Wand demanded to be won, like a prize in a very violent game show. The rules were simple. Beat the owner, claim the power. Easy, right? Well, not exactly. See, the wand didn't require you to kill, just to defeat. Sometimes that meant murder, other times just a clever disarm. It's like the wand respected skill over body count. Take Grindelwald, for example. He didn't kill Grigorovich. He stunned him, grabbed the wand, and vanished with a smirk. No blood, just brains. It was a hint even then that the Elder Wand might have a twisted sense of honor. Not exactly comforting, but definitely interesting. And as it passed from wizard to wizard, the trail behind it grew darker. Power-hungry, ruthless, sometimes just desperate, its owners rarely got what they thought they were bargaining for. It promised invincibility, but usually delivered paranoia. Still, people kept chasing it. Because when a wand is said to be unbeatable, even the most sensible witch starts thinking, what if I'm the one who can control it? And that question? It leads us straight into something even more complicated than death. Loyalty. If the Elder Wand had a Facebook relationship status, it would definitely be it's complicated. People always assumed you had to kill the current owner to win the wand's loyalty. Makes sense, right? Kill the wizard, steal the wand, boom, ultimate power. But no. Turns out the wand is less about bloodshed and more about dominance. You don't need to murder the owner, just defeat them. Which honestly makes it even messier. Enter Draco Malfoy, the most accidental master in magical history. He didn't even know he'd become the wand's new best friend when he disarmed Dumbledore in the astronomy tower. No dramatic duel, no epic spell battle, just a well-timed Expelliarmus. And yet, that was enough. That moment sealed the deal. The wand quietly shifted allegiance, probably shrugging like, well, rules are rules. Then came Harry, who disarmed Draco at Malfoy Manor. Again, no murder. Just a classic, clean disarming spell. And guess what? The wand felt that. Even though it was buried with Dumbledore at the time, it somehow sensed the shift in power. It's like this thing is emotionally tuned into drama. It knew Harry had bested its current master and decided to jump ship. Not exactly romantic loyalty, definitely loyal in its own weird, twisted way. So, this isn't just a story about magical power, it's about intent, timing, and control. The Elder Wand doesn't follow brute force alone. It respects skill, cunning, and, let's be honest, being at the right place at the right time. And if a simple spell can flip its loyalty, imagine what that means for everyone who thought killing was the only way to earn respect. But before we get too confident in that logic, what if Dumbledore wasn't even the wand's rightful master in the first place? Ah yes, Dumbledore. Beloved headmaster, lemon drop enthusiast, and possibly not the true master of the Elder Wand? That's right. Buckle up. There's a theory floating around that throws a beautifully chaotic wrench into the official narrative. According to some magical sleuthing, Tina Goldstein, yes, that Tina, may have disarmed Grindelwald before Dumbledore ever laid a hand on him. And if that's true, then the wand never fully belonged to Albus in the first place. Oops. Let's rewind to Fantastic Beasts and where to find them. At the end, Grindelwald is captured, but not by Dumbledore. He's overpowered by the combined effort of Tina and a few others. If she was the one to disarm or subdue him even briefly, then technically, the wand's loyalty might have shifted to her right there. It's the kind of detail the wand cares deeply about, even if the rest of us barely noticed. And that's what makes it so deviously brilliant. Now imagine Dumbledore striding into his legendary duel in 1945, thinking he's about to win the wand, when in reality the wand's like, "Sorry mate, I'm with someone else now." That would explain a few things, like why the wand never really acted quite as invincible in Dumbledore's hands. Maybe it was loyal, or maybe it was just tolerating him. Either way, it adds a layer of doubt that makes this whole history even juicier. And let's not forget, the Elder Wand's loyalty can be flaky at best. If Tina interrupted the wand's path, even for a moment, that moment matters. It's one of those inconvenient little details that rewrite magical history. So now we have to ask, if Dumbledore might have never been the true master, how badly did Voldemort misunderstand this ancient wand's loyalty when he made his next move? Voldemort, for all his power and snake-whispering skills, had the emotional intelligence of a teaspoon. He genuinely thought that killing Snape would unlock the full loyalty of the Elder Wand. Snape killed Dumbledore, so Snape must be the master. Makes sense. If you're ignoring literally everything we just learned, the wand doesn't care about who kills, it cares about who defeats. And Snape? He never disarmed Dumbledore, he just followed orders. Let's break this down. In the infamous tower scene, Draco was the one who disarmed Dumbledore. Snape only delivered the finishing blow, reluctantly, by the way. The wand had already made up its mind when Draco knocked Dumbledore's wand out of his hand. It's not about drama, it's about magical authority. So when Voldemort murdered Snape in cold blood, thinking he was claiming the Elder Wand, he was just committing another senseless act for no magical gain. Classic Voldy. Even worse, the wand never accepted. Voldemort, it resisted him. It literally backfired when he tried to use it against Harry. It's like the wand was screaming, "You're not my real dad!" Voldemort's obsession with power blinded him to the one thing he couldn't control, loyalty. He thought he could force the wand to obey. But this wand doesn't bow to threats, it bows to rightful mastery. And Voldemort, in all his terror, just didn't qualify, which makes everything that came after, well, inevitable. Because while Voldemort was busy playing 4D chess with the wrong pieces, the wand had already shifted its allegiance elsewhere. It was biding its time, waiting for the right wizard to take the stage. And that wizard? You guessed it. He wasn't holding the wand yet, but he didn't need to. So let's connect the dots, shall we? If we trace the Elder Wand's chaotic resume, the official line of loyalty, at least the one that makes the most sense, is Grindelwald to Dumbledore, kind of, then to Draco, and finally to Harry. Grindelwald took it from Gregorovitch, Dumbledore, defeated Grindelwald, Draco disarmed Dumbledore, and Harry disarmed Draco. Simple, right? The wand's loyalty is basically a game of hot potato, but with way higher stakes and fewer winners. Now the Dumbledore link is still up for debate, depending on where you stand with the Tina Goldstein theory, but assuming the wand did accept him, his defeat came not through murder, but through a single spell cast by a teenage boy trying not to kill him. Draco didn't mean to become master of the Elder Wand, he was just trying to survive. Yet, according to the wand's own weird logic, that was enough. He won control. Period. Then Harry, ever the unintentional hero, simply disarmed Draco at Malfoy Manor. He wasn't thinking about wand ownership or ancient magical contracts, he just needed a wand. Any wand. But that disarm sealed the deal. The Elder Wand recognized Harry as the rightful master, even though he didn't physically possess it yet. That's how deep the magic goes. It doesn't care where the wand is. It cares who earned it. So by the time Voldemort tried to use the wand against Harry in the final battle, it wasn't just refusing to obey, it was defending its real master. The wand flew to Harry not out of luck, but destiny wrapped in magical legalese. But how far back does this web of loyalty stretch? And what kind of ancient knowledge could have helped decode it earlier? Let's take a detour into the dusty corners of Hogwarts, the restricted section. You know, the place where books literally scream at you. Among the charmingly cursed collection sits Magic Most Evil, a text so obscure most students don't even glance at it. But buried within its dark pages is a vital clue. It was once owned by Godolo, a powerful dark wizard, and yes, a former master of the Elder Wand. He even wrote in it while using the wand. Talk about multitasking. Godolo didn't just own the Elder Wand. He studied it, lived with it, probably whispered sweet nothings to it. He wrote that the wand helped him penetrate the deepest secrets of the dark arts. Yikes. That kind. of intimate magical relationship isn't something we see often in the series. But here's what makes it juicier. Magic Mosta Evil is sitting right there, at Hogwarts, waiting to be noticed. It's a breadcrumb in plain sight that ties modern wizarding education to ancient, dangerous history. So imagine this: generations of students passing by this book, never realizing it was written by someone who held the Elder Wand. It's like walking by the Holy Grail in the school library and saying, "Nah, I'll just grab this potions guide instead." That book is a silent witness to centuries of bloodshed, betrayal, and raw power. And it's not just background lore, it's connective tissue in the greater story of wand ownership and obsession. The fact that it appears so subtly in the story, that's no accident. J.K. Rowling dropped it like an Easter egg for the ultra-observant. So if a single dusty book can hold that kind of hidden insight, what else might be hiding in plain sight during that final, fateful duel? Ah, the grand finale. The moment every fan replays in their head at least once a month. Voldemort stands across from Harry, Elder Wand in hand, radiating power, menace, and a complete misunderstanding of magical loyalty. Because when that final spell is cast, Avada Kedavra versus Expelliarmus, it's not just about the flashy lights. It's about the wand choosing, and choose it does. Not the wielder with ambition, but the one with courage, mercy, and, ironically, no desire for the wand at all. The Elder Wand doesn't just respond to power, it responds to worthy intent. It knows when it's being used by someone who understands its weight. Harry, despite being a literal teenage fugitive with a savior complex, never wanted the wand for glory. He didn't seek domination, just protection, and that matters. The wand flew into his hand like a loyal dog returning to its real owner, as if to say, finally, someone who gets it. Remember, the wand could have stayed with Voldemort if it cared only about strength, but it didn't. That dramatic flight across the battlefield wasn't just cool, it was symbolic. It was the wand publicly breaking up, with Voldemort mid-duel in front of everyone. A magical mic drop. And Harry? He catches it like it's no big deal, casually dismantling a legacy of blood with one quiet, firm choice. That moment closed a chapter, but not every question. Because if the wand chose Harry not for ownership, but for worthiness, what does that say about its true nature? Is it simply a tool of power, or a conscious relic, seeking someone who deserves it? Maybe the truth about the Elder Wand isn't just in who held it, but why. So what do you think? Was the Elder Wand ever truly loyal to Dumbledore? Or have we all been fooled by a neat little narrative that skips over the messiest parts? And what about Tina Goldstein? Do you think she really beat Grindelwald first? That theory alone could flip the whole timeline on its head. Drop your thoughts in the comments. I want to hear your take on this twisted legacy. And hey, if you love digging into the hidden layers of magic and lore like this, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. We're just getting started. And if you're wondering how a wizard's power is actually measured in the Harry Potter world, well, that's exactly what we explore in the next video. Click it now. There's more magic waiting. Until the next video.